Time to play with psionics! Okay. So, should have everything. Yep, Shadows of the Shroud. Because I did get the DLC, so I basically already have the entire season. Because everything in the new season looks really, really cool. There we go. All right, we have audio. Stellaris is back. Yes. And when we're going with psionics, I want to go back to my main favorite empire. So let's see what changes we could make to this empire in order for it to do what I want. So what does this empire do? Well, I use the fox people portrait because this is before we had like actual rock people. And I love this portrait. So, not gonna lie, this empire I'm about to play is not gonna be super great. But if we look at all the portraits, we should have some new psionic ones. And look at that. Oh, mammalians. Okay, yeah, that looks really cool. But we're gonna go straight back to my fox people. Let me choose him. So right now, I will want to schedule some multiplayer Stellaris in the nearby future, but for now, we're going to be taking our time to delve into the new one. Now, I'm not in this one going to be using Shroud Forged, Mind Wardens, or Endbringers. We'll have to do that with a different empire. So, but there are new psionic origins that allow you to really focus on having a psionic gameplay. Sorry, I'm partially distracted. Multiplayer win. I'll have to ping on when a good time is going to be. It's just, I don't know when I'm going to be the most free. Because I also know I'm about to be taking a week because I had to go on a business trip. I mean, choose an empire for you. I mean, choose an empire for you to play. I mean, I could, but I really want to at least play with this one. We're spiritualists, so it's easier for us to do the psionic stuff. Pacifist, like the empire size from Pops and stability improvement. But we're also authoritarian because we have an empirical style, but it also allows us to have some control over an empire. The main one that I really like, I just think it's really, really cool, is to have nobles. But let's see if we got a new civic that would match what I am wanting to do with this empire. Now, what are we trying to do? Species! Let's just skip to that. So we have our traits. Right now, they're organic. That's fine. Organic is required. Food upkeep per 100 is +1. Sure. They're sociologists to help them become psionic. They're talented. That's kind of a thing that's there. They're adaptive in order to be able to go onto different worlds. But they are weak and they're deviant. So nothing like super psionic calling out there. Do we have any new traits? I don't think so. I don't think we have any, like, cool new traits. No crystallization. We're not egg laying. We're not supposed to be warmongering. We're not going to be incubators. Indigenous, no. Intelligent, Rapid breeders, Seasonal dormancy. Employed pop upkeep is reduced. Ooh, I really want to keep adaptive. This empire needs this one to be adaptive. Now I said, I'm newish too. I've played much. Haven't played much. The update is rough. Yeah. Genetic memory. Interesting. Passing down knowledge, learning. For one, I don't think this is new. This one's probably been around for a while. Habitability from colony age plus 0.5 per year, max 25%. Interesting. Inorganic breath. Yeah, that's fine. Newly grown props tend to spend first after being grown as pre-sentient. Interesting. Oh, that is cool. Oh, that's really, really cool. Unruly. Yeah, I think we're just going to keep everything the way that is. So the traits that I have right now is going to be just fine. Name list and names, it's all going to be fine. These are the Phyrexians, a fox-like race with psionic potential. The story of this one is they actually used to be warlike. So, but there was a more fragile one that ended up coming to be, and at first she got outcast. This one got outcast, and eventually she was able to tap into some weird power and seemed to be gifted from, and just a way, like, you know, some form of god above or whatever, but suddenly had this extra power that ended up the entire population basically bowed down to and revered until she died essentially of old age, where upon her death there was a massive ceremony in order to go, you know, the queen is dead, that united our people and started a new way of life. We will be there forever in her memory. And then her body in a pillar of light was raised into the heavens, where she joined the sun, or at least as the story of it goes. It's between all empires play-wise. I mean, all of them play differently. You can do an empire with like a story sort of perspective, but what ended up really happening is there was a little bit of tampering with this species from an external force. Now, what that external force was, we don't fully know. Andrew, how goes it? But, let's see. This game's customizable. But you can also have more like a role-playing kind of perspective whenever you're playing a certain empire, or you could go fully min-max for the win. But that being lifted in a beam of light was some other empire out there pulling a little prank and basically beamed her up into the sky. So, you know, they pranked an entire species and changed the entire way of life for them for forever. So even they, instead of going, oh, she's now gone, no, instead of just being buried to decompose in like a tomb and whatever, no, she was brought to the sky. So everybody changed their way of life to basically follow this one Phyrexian's philosophy, which is instead of being warlike and it's all about the might of one, it's more of be peaceful. But that ended up making this species weaker as a whole. However, there is another thing that was slowly learned throughout time, is there is a second thing that they were able to tap into, and then they were able to start forming these rocks and have these rocks do their bidding through their mind. And that is where we have this critic species of the Crystalros. The Crystals. You know, I'm not great with names, so bear with me. But basically, living Earth. The traits of these, they are serviles, so they live to serve. They really don't have free will. Since your own species, no, this is my own. I made this one. They have crystalline skin. So the more of these pops there are, they just shed rare crystals. And this is an actual, like, in-game mechanic. Crystallization. The more of them there are, the faster that they're going to grow on the planet. So this is essentially wanting a lot of crystals to be growing on said planet. You know, me, I love... For those of you who've been around my channel for a while, you know I love my crystal stuff. And you know what? Let's see if we can figure out better negative traits. Sedentary, so the resettlement is... They don't move around a lot. But I don't think they're unruly. What negative traits would be more appropriate? brittle. They're not going to be weak. They're intended to be their strong thing. Let's ask the true skip. Are most empires furries though? No, I would not. I would say no. I definitely would say no on that. It depends on your definition, because aliens. I guess it would determine on what you would be calling that, but no, that's definitely not. There's massive variety. If we go to the portraits, we got. Here, we're just gonna go back. Create new. Species and portrait. So you have humanoids. You have a whole bunch of humans. You got dwarves. You got like halfling-like things. You've got whatever the heck this is. You got a more psionic kind of thing, like some true alien kind of thing. You've got machines. You could be playing as a literal machine empire. A psionic machine. A cube. Mosquito-esque kind of machine. You could be playing as a mammal. So we got like a cat-like thing, a different cat-like thing. We've got whatever the heck this is. Some cool raptor thing. Some like little weird anteater thing. Some oxen thing. Fox. Otter. We got a tusk boar. We got reptilian. So you could be turtle. You could be this cute little thing. You could be a dragon. Avians, you like birds? How about birds with billions of eyes, like a peacock or an owl? I hear it's quite a hoot. Arthropods, you could be this insect-like thing, like caterpillar, butterfly. You could be a rainbow shrimp thing. You could be a mosquito, but actually not a machine this time. Molluscoid, you could literally be a snail. A fungoid, you know what? We like plants. How about a shroom? Or a different kind of shroom? Plantoids? You could be like a human with a burb. Or a Venus flytarp. Or lettuce leaves. Or this guy. Lithoid, you could be a rock, like this thing. Or this rock. Or this Hydra rock. Or you could be zombies. Look at this. Where is he? My name is Jeff. We got this thing. What else? We got this thing that's in a tub. Aquatic. You like fish? Well, how about fish? Baby Yoda. You could be lettuce leaves. Fish. You could be jellyfish. You could be cooler jellyfish. You could be dolphin. Psionic fish. Toxoid? Oh, you like pollution? Well, how about a guy that literally is in a hazmat suit? Or this thing. Wait, which one's the which one? Hold on. Where is he? Oh, yeah, there's that. One of these guys is like farts out a whole bunch of stuff. Where is he? Where is he? Yeah, this guy literally has just living based off of toxic fumes. Or cybernetic. These are like half human, half biogenesis, psionic. So yeah, we got a whole bunch of cool stuff. You got an eyeball. So no, it's not all animals. It's not all furries. No. So you went out of your way to play a furry empire. Very sus. You can say that. Put whatever you want. I've got other empires I've made. I've got jellyfish. I've got a plant. I've got a corporate empire. What did I want this one to be? The Unga Bunga Empire. Right. These guys steal technology. I've got a rock empire. You can say whatever the heck you want. I'm playing my empire that I like. But this one specifically, story-wise, has psionic potential, and I want to play with the new psionic mechanics, so we're going to be updating this empire to fit it. But essentially, this empire controls crystals with their minds, or at least so they think. Essentially, there is living rocks there, but I need to figure out a good thing to replace Unruly with. -2. Uh... Entertainers. The physical appearance and customs of the species are considered offensive to most others, and few appreciate them as neighbors. They would be terrible as elite jobs, entertainers, buyer trophies, or maintenance drones. Would these guys even be doing these jobs? Oh well, I think brittle would technically be more appropriate, but... I think this is going to be fine just as it is. But it's actually these crystals are the ones that are emitting this psionic potential that is affecting the Phoenician species. Could you be a blue angel, though? I don't think so. I don't think there's really a good portrait for a blue angel. I mean, there's this guy. Will you play hardcore? I mean, in a way, you could say hardcore. I'm going to play Iron Man, where there's no going back. Whatever decisions I make, it's just going to auto-save everything. I'm probably going to lose, but I'm going to tailor the settings so that way I get to experience more of the game and have fun. Because whenever I do play it to where it's supposed to get as hard as possible near the end, I just hit a wall, and not going to lie, it's frustrating for me, because... once I hit that wall, I feel like nothing happens, and I can't do anything, so I'd rather have the game slightly easier and have fun with it. Because this game constantly is changing, and I'm having troubles keeping up with it. Because this one also is very complicated. I will do my best to explain as much as possible. Feel free to ask questions as we go through, but the biggest thing I'm going to be trying to do is modify these civics. Most notably, the Ascensionists. I don't think I really need this trait, so I want to look to find one of the new traits. With deep respect for Fortune's nature, the species goes to great lengths to uncover the inner workings of environmental phenomena set across the stars. They take with them a particular interest in astronomy, astrometeorology. Central to their ambitions are the most fantastic and potentially destructive of all astronomical events, the cosmic storms themselves. Oh no, that's not something I care about. Chosen! Alright, what's this one? Warning! Blocks all ascension paths except for psionic ascension. That's okay, because this empire is intended to go with the psionic ascension. Starts the game in contact with a Shroud patron. Additional starting technologies. I think if I hold Alt, I can mouse over. Yeah. Success chance when delving plus 10%. Unlocks features psionic auras. Interesting. Psionic aura intensity gain plus 10 and gain unity scaling with attunement of the Shroud. I don't think... the civic cannot be manually added or removed later. Let's see what other new death cult. Chosen elect, since one of my names is the Chosen One, Anakin Skywalker. What is Iron Man mode? Basically, Iron Man is the game saves extremely frequently. You can't go backwards, essentially. So that's the closest I'm getting to hardcore, but that's how we're going to play anyways. Because if I want achievements, you have to play on Iron Man anyways. I've still got 3 other traits to find. Dimensional worship, is this one of those? This society believes that a divine existence lies beyond the folds in space and time. Ooh, that sounds appropriate for my story. Systems where instabilities are highest hold a sacred meaning to them as sites of both pilgrimage and research. Available star-based buildings, dimensional shrine. Ooh. Outside the known universe, there are pathways that lead to other worlds and places where those connections are subtly made. This is where we build the holiest of our temples. This is where I can produce more unity. I mean... Monthly astral threads plus 25%. Chance for rare technology research options. That's good. Chance for astral threads in controlled system. Yo. Not gonna lie. That's more appropriate for Dimensional Covenant is my current title. Right, your Empire title changes. I'm trying to catch up with chat just in case someone has said something and I have missed it. We've no shame and easy. I don't remember. This is a game that's intended to have fun, and there's a playthrough I have on YouTube where I tried to be as storytelling as possible, but what ended up happening for, like, not gonna lie, maybe like 50 of the episodes, it was just me just bashing my head into a wall, and guess what? Nothing happened. Not exciting storytelling at all. It's not exciting for you guys to watch. It's not exciting for me to say. Like, I want an obstacle that's tricky for me to overcome, but when I put the game to be on the hardest of the hardest difficulty, what ends up happening is I just hit a wall that I can't overcome. You're a good storyteller, though. I try. Eager Explorers. See, I find Eager Explorers fun. That's not what this Empire's going to be doing. Entropy Drinkers. This is one of the other ones. Warning, blocks all ascension paths except for psionic ascension. That is fine. The society drains valuable metabolism from idle population via parasitic... Nah, that's not us. But what does this do? Enables the following edicts. Energy drain. Leaders will never die of old age, but path growth speed is minus 40%. What? The population is required to have essence harvesting implants installed and inspection on a regular basis. They must be capable of being activated at a moment's notice. The population are batteries for the leaders? What? Sanguine Council. You could make a vampire council, essentially. Oh, that is hilarious. That is amazing. That is essentially what I understand with that. That is sick. That's amazing. That's why you choose the difficulty one level lower than max, right? I actually usually make it to where it scales to be the hardest difficulty later, because I feel that it's okay at the start, but I'm going to be setting it at a difficulty and not have it on scaling. I will show you guys the world settings I will be playing on, so that way, if y'all want to play your own game on similar settings, feel free to do so. Does that mean we should consider Stellaris streams chapters? Possibly. Experimental sentencing. No, not test subjects. We're not all about that. Galactic curators? No. Genetic identification? No. Heroic past? No. Hyperspace specialty? No. Imperial cult! Home Ruler's planet has additional priests. Mutagenic spalls, natural design. Cool. Secret societies. A cabal of elites and secretive figures weave complicated political threads behind the scenes of this society, entwining internal affairs with those of other worlds. Clandestine factions will emerge after contacting other empires. Starts with the ability to conduct proxy wars. This is one of the new ones! Proxy wars, right! Proxy wars can be initiated through diplomacy. To start a proxy war, you must have sufficient trust or infiltration. It would be cool to have some sort of empirical empire with proxy wars. This is actually a feature that's been requested for a long time. But this is not what we're going to be doing. Starts in first contact with two neighboring empires. The idea is you're supposed to cause these two neighboring empires to immediately go with war with each other, which you will then reap all the benefits. Selective kinship, no. Storm devotion, no. Superstitious beliefs. The society claims to have discovered a ritualistic mechanism to predict the future, leveraging a pattern recognition and cyclical anomaly analysis. Proper ceremonies must be performed before every major decision. Yeah, I think this is more of an empire that's supposed to... Enables galactic dowsing. That's cool. supposed to have bureaucrats. And then you can have cycles. See, that's really cool, but that's not what we're about. And then everything else I am locked out of. Alrighty, so we have decided to pass away. We are no longer going to be using... Which one was it? The Ascensionists. It was okay, but what we are now going to be having is dimensional worship. Because as I was mentioning with the story of the people just altered their way of life because of this event where their ruler that united essentially all the tribes in this more tribal stage was going to be buried in a tomb essentially to be immortalized. But during the ceremony, she got lifted up in a pillar of light. And thus, from that point onwards, the stories were passed down and everybody decided we have to join her in the stars. And that's why her name is going to be... her name was Blestalia. And so that's the sun's name. And from that point onwards, they leave to join her in the stars. And at this point, that's when they realize that, okay, it's a big giant burning mass. But there's still so much potential because what caused that? You know, they're never gonna... Maybe some will speculate and have tinfoil hats, conspiracy theories of, oh, well, what if it was just an alien species just playing a joke on us? All right, stone them. Change the name to Amro, I demand. We could definitely... You know what? I'm gonna make you one of our leaders, though. I could definitely do that. The city, it's gonna be the crystal stuff, because a whole bunch of crystal stuff, and... Yeah, we'll do that. I like that. Perfect. That's gonna be the room. Empire voice, I think we still use pacifist, but let's listen to the new voices. So give me a moment. Wilderness. Oh wait, no, that's a different one. Alright, what about psionic?
The mind's eye sees the colors this galaxy cannot reflect. Shadows that most cannot see sing songs that most cannot hear. Shadows that most... When the Shroud calls, we answer.
That's pretty cool. We're gonna stick with pacifist. I like my flag colors and all that. Ship sets! I'm sticking with the lithoids, so I'm gonna be sticking with a rock kind of set. My goal is to have space rocks be part of my army as well, and we're gonna be using cruisers for a whole bunch of little ships, as well as battleships, so they use these rocks for pretty much everything. There's the Titan. So we're gonna have some cool ships, but there are two new ones that are also available, the psionic ships. So got the Corvette. Ooh, really sleek in this design. The frigates, that looks cool. These destroyers, I love the sleek design of this new construction ship. Yeah, really looks cool. Science ship, yeah, I like it. The Citadel, Colossus, the Juggernaut. Right, and then the Mind Wardens. Wow, they almost they're hard to see. It's almost like oh, what are those stealth pilots? Like a stealth jet or whatever. This could be a really cool cloaking Empire thing to play with. And make an Empire that focuses on cloaking. Actually, I mean, we are going to be playing with some cloaking. So, yeah. But we're going to go ahead and stick with my rocks. I like my lithoids. Die! Alright. Ruler appearance. This is the one I'm going with. It's just going to be using my name. Just told me as the ruler. Hey, it's me! Cool. Ruler traits. Eye for talent. Nothing really amazing to be doing there. Alrighty. But we did, if we go back, pretty much everything's the same. All the traits are going to be the same throughout. But we now are using... So, this is Shards of the Crystal Empire. We are on Tundra Worlds. Aristocratic elites. So we're going to have nobles, and there's going to be a hierarchy. Dimensional worship. So we have a more mystical empire. And let's see, hold on. I'm catching up, Amro. Give me a moment. Go, make me the star. That's the first one that looks, great. I haven't forgotten. I still want that star named after me. I mean, I can change it in game, but it's the lore. I've been using this empire since I first started playing, Stellaris. Back in 1.0 when, tiles were set. Alright. What are we going to be playing? We're going to be playing on Commodore difficulty, so it's not too difficult. It's not too difficult, but it's also not too easy. So if you at least know what you're doing as Stellaris, but you're not always min-maxing as hard as you possibly can go, Commodore is a good, fair difficulty to be playing on. I hate my PC, so we're playing on huge with 1,000 stars. Elliptical, I feel like it's a little more interesting. There are a lot of different galaxy styles that are out there, but I personally enjoy elliptical the most. Hyperlane density, for the most part, we're just keeping everything pretty much the same. What I am also doing, AI Empires, we have this on max, but I do have it randomized, so we could have, like, not too many, or we could have a whole bunch. I like to just keep that as a mystery for me. Advanced AI starts, I don't want too many. Again, I want to be able to do something at the start of the game. And then Fallen Empires, all of them, but a random amount. Advanced settings, in case y'all are worried about that. Crisis type, we're going to stick with random, but I am having the crisis strength on 2x. Scaling difficulty for the late game, I'm going to go and just turn that off. I'm done with scaling difficulty. It's, in theory, I should be able to, but eventually I just hit that wall of nothing happens if I have scaling difficulty on. And until I play this game again for another, like, 400 hours straight and get back to the same level of expertise I was previously on, scaling difficulty doesn't do anything for me. AI aggressiveness, we're going to set to high. Listicle row ceiling. Pretty much everything, for the most part, is unchecked. Empire placement is in clusters. With advanced neighbors, I have it disabled, so that way we could do whatever. Precursors, a minimum of 4 is recommended. I could try to tailor it to be something that I would want. I'm just going to keep it fully random. I am, however, increasing how quickly the mid-year starts to 50. End game starts at 2300, and victory year is at 2400. So it's going to be a 200-year game. We're probably not going to get to the victory year. We'll see. Marauder Empire, and then pretty much everything else is unchanged. Marauder Empire is fully random 1 to 3. Caravanneers, I have them enabled, but maybe I'll disable them at some point. Everything else is just untouched for the most part. Let's play.